Did you know the Basel Committee, the global standard setter for regulating banks, has delayed the implementation of the Basel rules for crypto assets by a year? Yes, you heard it right. Instead of January 2025, it's now set for January 2026. The Basel Committee's oversight body made it clear that this revised implementation date is aimed at ensuring that all members are able to implement the standard in a full, timely, and consistent manner. This unexpected delay is not without cause. Let's take a moment to understand the broad definition of crypto assets by the Basel Committee. This includes not just cryptocurrencies, which most of us are familiar with, but also stablecoins and tokenized securities. Tokenized securities might sound like a mouthful, but they're essentially traditional securities such as stocks and bonds that have been tokenized or digitalized. In essence, the Basel Committee is taking a holistic view of what constitutes a crypto asset, encompassing a wide range of digital assets. This broad scope means that the rules being implemented will have far-reaching implications for the crypto and banking sectors alike. This delay, while surprising, is a call for a more thorough and consistent implementation of these standards across the globe. So while we may have to wait a little longer for these rules, the aim is to ensure a more robust and uniform application that benefits all. Let's roll back the clock to late December 2022, when the first set of crypto asset rules was finalized. At this time, the Basel Committee had established a regulatory framework that was seen as a pioneering step in the realm of crypto assets. Fast forward a year, and things took an interesting turn. The committee proposed significant alterations to the rules they had initially set, sparking a flurry of discussion and debate. These proposed changes intended to tighten the regulations around crypto assets, making it more challenging for them to be classified in the low-risk Group 1. This group typically includes tokenized securities, digital representations of traditional assets like stocks and bonds. But under the draft amendments, the game was set to change significantly. Security tokens issued on a public blockchain were proposed to be automatically shifted to Group 2, the higher-risk group. This meant that banks, including those in the United States, would be required to set aside $1 of capital for every dollar of tokenized securities held on a public blockchain. And this wasn't just limited to tokenized securities. The same provision applied to any digital assets that didn't meet the risk requirements laid out in the standard. The plot thickened as the Basel Committee announced plans to revise these rules once again later in the year. This move, while not unexpected, added an additional layer of complexity and uncertainty to an already intricate landscape. The world of crypto assets, which is known for its volatility, was met with an equally volatile regulatory environment, and as we'll see, these proposed changes have not been without their fair share of controversy. These proposed changes have certainly stirred the pot, changing the game for tokenized securities and other digital assets. The road ahead may be uncertain, but one thing is clear: the evolution of Basel rules for crypto assets is a journey that's only just beginning. But wait, not everyone's on board with these changes. Industry bodies GFMA, FIA, IIF, and ISDA have raised their objections. These organizations are not just sitting on the sidelines, they're voicing out their concerns, challenging the Basel Committee's proposed amendments. One of their main objections? The infrastructure risk proposal. Originally, the committee had proposed a 2.5% infrastructure risk add-on for all Group 1 assets, which include digital or tokenized securities. The final standard of 2022 removed this add-on, but guess what? The proposed amendments of 2023 are trying to sneak it back in, albeit in a watered-down version at 0%. However, this gives local regulators the wiggle room to increase the percentage, a flexibility that these industry bodies are not too thrilled about. They want to see all mentions of the infrastructure risk dropped, erased, gone. But that's not all. They've also addressed several other proposed changes. For instance, they're not too keen on the idea that any security tokens issued on a public blockchain would automatically fall into the higher risk Group 2. This would mean prohibitive capital requirements for banks, $1 of capital for every dollar of tokenized securities held on a public blockchain. A bit steep, don't you think? On another note, the Basel Committee is about to experience a change in leadership. Erik Thedéen, the governor of Sweden's Riksbank, is set to take the reins as the new chair of the committee come June. He will replace Spain's Pablo Hernández de Cos, who has been at the helm for more than 5 years. A new captain at the ship Will he navigate through these choppy waters differently? So there you have it, a whirlwind of changes, objections, and leadership shifts. But what could this all mean for the banking and crypto asset industry? The changes we've discussed could have far-reaching consequences for the banking and crypto asset industry. If the Basel Committee's proposed amendments are adopted, banks may need to set aside significant capital reserves for holding tokenized securities on a public blockchain. This could potentially hinder the growth of such securities, discouraging banks from engaging with this technology. Moreover, the reintroduction of the infrastructure risk add-on, albeit at 0%, could also pose challenges. It empowers local regulators to increase this percentage as they see fit. This could lead to a lack of uniformity in regulations across different jurisdictions, creating complexity and uncertainty for banks and crypto asset businesses operating globally. However, it's not all gloom and doom. These rules could also encourage the industry to develop more secure and robust infrastructures and practices, ultimately contributing to a healthier, more resilient financial ecosystem. As the Basel rules continue to evolve, one thing is clear: the banking and crypto asset industry is in for a thrilling ride. Stay tuned to see how this story unfolds.